Welcome in. This is the Second Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your Friday night recap for this week's CJ Cup Byron Nelson. Notice I did not say round 2 recap because round 2 has plenty of golf still to be played. Greg DuCharme is here. Hello, Greg.
Gentlemen, 6-hour delay. Fortunately, it didn't take us too far off the pace, but just an incredible day overall. Unfortunately, it wasn't because of all the golf that was played, although some of it was still pretty incredible.
Mark Immelman is not only here, but he's there coming from his hotel room. Hello, Mark.
Yeah, hello. Deep in the heart of Texas over here. And when I flew in this morning, the flight was fine. But when I looked out the window to my, it was our north. So I was coming in from the east. So that was my right. It was like black and you could see lightning bolts. And I'm like, this is not good. And the captain of the plane goes, well, happy trails. There's storms north of town. I'm like, well, that's exactly where TPC Craig Ranch is. And I drove over here, and it was biblical. I got the word that play was suspended, and we just kept on getting highlights or recaps saying, well, another update at 2:00, then one at 3, and so on. And eventually, it's cleared up. But man, this place took a lot of water.
It did. And it was a 6-hour and 15-minute weather delay. There's really two big stories on this Friday night. One is the weather. One is Scottie Scheffler. Let's start with the weather and the course conditions because, Greg, that Scottie group, that featured group, it took them 11 hours and 13 minutes to play their second round of golf. We have guys, and a lot of them, who have not even teed off in round number 2. Basically 30-ish guys at a quick glance, maybe 40, have not even teed off in round number 2. So we're quite behind. They're going to play until sunset tonight, and the golf course is incredibly receptive.
Yes, it's very receptive, although it could be a lot worse considering what happened. I mean, that 11 hours and 15 minutes wasn't because of slow play. All right. It was because of, like I said, a 6-hour rain delay. And at times, I mean, I was listening to the radio on my way home from work this morning, and they were talking about, there's another cell coming. We got another couple hours, and we could get easily another half inch to an inch. I don't know what they officially got, but the point is there was heavy rain coming down, and you could see it when they came back out to play, when they hit iron shots out of the fairway. You could see water splashing, but the way the ball was responding on the green was, I think, pretty impressive, quite frankly. And they made a really big investment in this golf course. And one of the cool things about this weather delay was you got to hear a lot about their upcoming plans. And I think there are some plans to make this golf course even more difficult. I know it's one of the easiest golf courses on the PGA Tour. But that being said, they grew up the rough this year. They narrowed the fairways a little bit this year. And after this tournament, they plan to, make it even a little more challenging. But what they did last year was improve some of the irrigation, which turned out to be a great investment for this tournament.
Yeah, I'm wondering how they're going to make this place harder for Scottie Scheffler. They're going to make the cups smaller. Oh,
it's an option.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do something, huh?
Everything is on the table, says Jay Monahan. He has told us that a couple of times. Mark, Greg is right here. We could see it, especially after play resumed about 2 hours ago or so. Some of the lower areas in the fairway had some, I don't want to call it standing water, but that type of water when you step on it and it seeps up a little bit and you can see it coming out. And then so guys were getting a lot of relief there, but they were already playing preferred lies each of the first 2 rounds. So that is still very much in play, and I imagine will probably be throughout the rest of the event. And Greg is right. The greens, though, have held up beautifully.
Yeah, the changes to the golf course have been good, with the rye overseed, with fairways being pinched, with a few holes being played longer. And earlier this week, the golf course, everyone was like over the moon with the place because it was firm, it was running out. That meant this rye rough, because the fairways were playing narrower, was brought into play, and the greens were immaculate and firm and rolling well. I got to say, with the rain that we experienced, I was somewhat surprised. It was so playable when they went back out this afternoon. But again, it's just testament to the PGA Tour advanced staff, because I'm wondering why these guys don't actually do meteorology for like news stations and stuff, because they knew this weather was coming. And so they started playing preferred lies before the first round, even. And so we had the good weather, then there was some rain in the pro-am, then they played preferred lies in advance of what's happening here. And then it turns out it's a pretty good decision, because if you were playing the ball down, gosh, it would have been like balls flying all over the show. And it would have become more a case of fortune and a case of skill with these guys out here playing.
The good news is the forecast for the weekend is clean. No rain in the forecast, mid 70s the rest of the way. That was item number one. Let's talk about item number two. His name is Scottie Scheffler. He opened with a round of 61 and followed it up with a round of 63. I believe, Mina, we have the scorecard here. This is his opening round scorecard, Greg. This is a 61. We made this graphic with thinking there's no chance he's going to shoot something nearly as good in round number two. He almost did. Let me think about how many ways I can put this. He's 18 under par through 36 holes. He is fourth in the field in strokes gained off the tee, second in approach. He has not made a 5 on his scorecard yet. It's scary right now.
It is scary. It's quite frankly incredible. And you think of the 36-hole scoring record on the PGA Tour, and he's only one off of that. That was Justin Thomas, who shot 59-64 at the Sony Open in 2017. That was on a par 70 and a much shorter golf course. What's amazing to me about this round, these rounds that Scottie has played, there's a stat called average approach. And in this scorecard that we're looking at here, he shot 61 with an average approach of 207 yards. 207 yards. Okay, it's not like this is a wedge fest. When Justin Thomas did what he did at Waialae, it was a lot of short irons and wedges, which is understandable. But Scottie's doing this with long irons and mid irons, and he's able to hit every club in the bag close. But he hit a 245-yard 3-wood yesterday to 4 feet. You know, this is the kind of thing that is, well, what we saw last year out of Scottie Scheffler. It's dominant. The longest putt he made yesterday was 16 feet, and he shot 61. He only made 2 putts outside of 10 feet, and it wasn't much different today. This round was not much different. I do think he's making some really nice putting strokes. He's hit some great putts, but he hasn't had to make anything of significant length. It's as easy of a 18 under par, 61, 63 as you could ever see. I couldn't be more impressed.
On paper, Mark, when you look at the two scorecards, it's incredibly dominant. But if you watched it, because of the ebbs and flows of the tournament and how he's done it, it feels like video game golf. So his second 9 from yesterday, he played at 3 under. His first 8 holes this morning, today, he parred them all. So he played a 17-hole stretch at 3 under, which means he has played a 19-hole stretch at 15 under. So he has made them in bunches, and it is, my eyes are popping out of my head as he continues to roll these birdies in.
Yeah, I actually spoke about this on a show here recently, maybe last week, about how largely if you watch golfers at this level, it's like any other elite sport. Like if you watch the NBA playoffs right now, you know, some team will be well ahead, but the other team's just waiting for the run. And all of a sudden, you know, the 15-point lead becomes a 3-point lead because the guys run down the court and hit a few threes and then get a few fouls and get the ball back. And all of a sudden the game's close. And here on the PGA Tour, we see the same thing almost week in and week out. I can't tell you how many times that I will be out there on the golf course and we're covering a certain person on the weekend, so you got cameras sort of loaded on the back 3 groups or whatever, or someone else charging. Then all of a sudden someone pops up on the leaderboard who had been just sort of off the leaderboard a little bit, and then they found their run. Now, Scottie, you got to hand it to him, bearing all that in mind, because you know he's had some of his best year this year so far. Not completely there, but he's just been lurking around the show. Hasn't won yet because he hasn't gotten his run. And if you watch this morning, he's out here, he's made part of the first 8 holes. It's kind of pedestrian a little bit, but he just stayed patient. He stayed the course, and then he eagles the hole before the rain delay, and then comes back out and goes bananas. Your video game golf you talk of. And that speaks to the mental acumen of the man and not just the physical gifts. Because it's so easy for someone like a Scheffler who expects to win, who has not been winning. So there's some of that frustration. People have talked about it. Then he shoots that great round in round 1, then comes out flat this morning when the conditions were honestly perfect. And he just hung around. Then he comes back out after the delay, and it looked like the hole was the size of a bucket. He couldn't miss the center of the club face. And so off he's going, and I'm keen to see now what tomorrow holds, because now he's going to have a long time off. He's going to have a lot of time now before play finishes for him, or finished, until when he tees off again. I expect it'll be late tomorrow afternoon. Not sure if they'll get all of that in. So this is looking like some long days ahead. And if they are long days ahead, I'm giving it to the guy who's patient enough to just hang around, like Scottie Scheffler looks like he is, because it looks like there's confidence, and we saw the graphic from Mina, in every single part of the game. Off the tee is sound, with the irons he's good. He's putting the ball well, as Greg points out. And so the kind of the glue that brings that all out, or the secret sauce, if you will, is just knowing that, okay, everything's good. My time is going to come. And I mean, you'd be a silly man or woman to bet against Scheffler the way he's looking right now.
Well, I love that he makes eagle on 9 as the horn is blowing this morning. And then after 6.5 hours, or nearly 6.5 hours, he makes 2 birdies in a row, like he had never even left the golf course. Greg, I'll give you one more nugget before we move on from Scottie Scheffler here. He is 6 shots clear of his next closest chaser right now. Obviously, there are guys who have not even teed off in round number 2. Ricky Castillo is possible that he gets into solo second by the time this day is over. But Las Vegas has Scottie Scheffler at not even the halfway point, at minus 1,000. That means if you think Scottie Scheffler is going to win, you lay down $1,000 to win 100. The next shortest odds, the guy in second, his odds to win this golf tournament are 50-1. That is what the desert thinks about this event.
And those guys are pretty sharp over there in the desert. Okay. It's been around for a long time, and this is the reason why. They know how to set these lines. So if you're looking to get any action in this weekend, you're going to have to find some alternative options, because picking outrights is not for you. Hopefully on Tuesday you listen to us, and even though the odds didn't look great and for Scottie Scheffler, hopefully you got involved then, because your chances of that are done at this point. But all that being said, Scottie hasn't won this year. I believe that the reason why is there have been kind of soft starts, if you will. He hasn't gotten himself into a position like this. He hasn't been able to take control of a tournament, and he's put a lot of pressure on a Saturday round. There's no pressure on a Saturday round now for him. One, it might only be a partial round. But all Scottie has to do on Saturday is continue to take care of par 5s, and he's going to be just fine. I mean, I can't imagine if you're Rico Hoey, who shot 8 under yesterday, and you haven't teed off yet, and you're 10 shots back. 10 shots back. You haven't started your second round. You shot 8 under in round 1. You're 10 back. I mean, that is incredible. So Scottie's now got this stranglehold on the event, and this is time. He needs to win this tournament. He better win this tournament.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it'll be like Rory not winning the Masters after having the lead, right? How do you recover from that kind of thing? And yeah, you would figure he's going to win, but I'm not to say I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But if I'm Rico Hoey or one of those guys who played nicely yesterday, and there were a number of them who are going out tomorrow on a very receptive golf course, and the winds are supposed to be nothing, so they're going to shoot the grass off the place. They're looking at this going, okay, I mean, Scottie may look like he's 10 ahead right now, but by the time round 3 rolls round, he might just be 3 ahead of me. And so all you got to do if you're the chase back is go and stick to your guns. And I get back to that thing about the runs, because a few folks I would think are going to have them. But of course, Scottie cuts a pretty daunting looking figure and he's not going to go away. But the folks are looking at this going, well, yeah, it's there to be had. There's no real defense on this golf course. So let's just see how it goes tomorrow morning. And then we'll start seeing how stuff shakes out over the final 2 rounds.
As of this moment, Scottie Scheffler 6 shots clear of his next closest chaser. That gap, another 6 shots, is the same gap between the players in second and the players currently in a tie for 26th. Scottie Scheffler is not in the field for next week's Truist Championship, so we are barreling down a PGA Championship of a year where Rory McIlroy won the Masters, and Scottie Scheffler is going to be entering the PGA fresh off of what appears to be a dominant victory. I'll get to some guys in the chase back here, but let me hit some notables that are actually finished with their round 2s. Jordan Spieth played alongside Scottie Scheffler for those 2 rounds. It was, as you can imagine, gentlemen, a little bit more bumpy than what Scottie Scheffler did, but a 6 under total, 69, 67 through those first 2 rounds. Greg, from a statistical standpoint, Jordan has been great in the ball striking categories. He's losing 1 stroke around the greens. He's losing another 2 on the putting surfaces. I will remind you, he is 4 very good rounds away from completing the career Grand Slam himself.
Yes, although you can't use 2 this weekend. All right, they need to be 4 at a very specific time.
Correct.
But this is, I almost wish for Jordan's sake he wasn't playing with Scottie Scheffler in this round, because you're 6 shots off the lead, not including Scottie Scheffler, right? In the winner without market, you're only 6 back. And you think about the mistakes that he made. He missed like a 4-footer at number 10, his first hole of the day for birdie. He missed a couple of short ones yesterday. He hit a ball 3 inches today at number 12.
He was in like a thick, nasty lie, and he swung and like advanced it 3 inches. He ended up taking an unplayable after that, led to a double bogey.
Right. It led to a double bogey. He was even par. Now, I was looking at this then because I watched that live on ESPN Plus, and I thought, okay, Jordan Spieth just missed the cut. He's going to miss the cut. I thought there was a chance this cut would get to 7 under par. That is still a possibility. Very unlikely. It looks like it's going to be 5 under. But if you think about, 3 under was the cut after round 1, you double it +1, a very common way to determine what the cut line will be. Jordan Spieth just missed the cut, and he battles back. He makes a great birdie at 13, and a really nice birdie at 14, birdie 17 and 18. He gets himself right back in the mix. And of course, on his last hole of the day, a huge birdie, a huge 2-putt birdie at 9, his final hole of the day. So really impressive stuff for Jordan just to make the cut. Now, if you're watching that group of he and Siwoo Kim, who continues to change putting grips seemingly every other hole.
And putters, well,
and putters too.
Yeah, if they let him change putters in the middle of a round, he'd do it 7 times a round.
We had Siwoo on the radio show this week on Sirius XM, and I was like, we got to ask him about the putter. And he answered. He said, I want to stick with the short putter, and I want to stick with the claw grip. This was on Wednesday. He putts
that's an eternity ago.
He putts with the claw grip all day Thursday. We're watching him on Friday morning, and he's using the prayer grip. Mm-hmm. After the rain delay, he's using the claw grip again. Insane. But all in all, really impressive for Jordan to make the cut. Which, look, in an event like this, it shouldn't be. But just considering the way that this day started, I was impressed.
Well, Mark, we've been keeping a close eye on Jordan. Obviously, the offseason surgery and 2025, we were going to give him a pretty decent leash here. He's played about 10 or 11 events, highlights with a 4th place finish in Phoenix, a 9th at the Cognizant, and he's currently on a stretch of 3 straight top 18 finishes entering this week. What is your state of the union on Jordan Spieth right now?
Well, I was on him there in the final round in Phoenix, when it was vintage Spieth. He hit it all over Scottsdale and shot 68, I think it was, including the 11th hole where he hit driver, putter, wedge, putter for 4. And one of the putters was hit backhanded from the side of a tree. And so after watching that, I made the comment to say, okay, he's there. And as I look at Jordan now, it's kind of the curious case of Jordan Spieth, because when he's playing well, it's solid with the iron game. It's a symphony with the wedges around the green, and then he putts nicely, makes that sort of mid-range stuff a lot. Now it's Jordan who's really good off the tee and along. The iron game is functional. Around the green, with a wedge, he's still biblical. But on the greens, it's just disastrous. And so if he wants to contend, especially in a week like this, let's just leave the PGA for a couple of weeks down the track. If he wants to make himself a reality in this tournament, it's a putting contest. I'm sorry. That's what it is. You can hit the thing flush the whole day long, but if you're not making putts, you're not making birdies. That's how it works. So for Spieth, keep playing from the fairway, keep hitting quality irons, but you got to settle on something with a putter. Like I saw here recently, you talk about Siwoo bouncing back and forth. I saw someone ask for the Siwoo drop. Siwoo shaking that ass, right? So he's all over the show. And yeah, recently I was on Spieth, and from 5-6 feet and in, he's looking at the cup like he used to back in 15 when he never missed from short range. And now I'm watching him today, and there's some of the eyes down and some of the eyes up, and there's just all over the show, and it doesn't look like he's got anything he's sticking to. It's almost like he's searching. And when you get to that place and then you're missing, that hole starts to look minute. And I don't care what you're doing and how well your practice is going. When that hole looks about this size, the size of a thimble, it's impossible to make stuff, even from 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot kind of stuff. And so that's where it lies for Spieth right now. I feel like there's a lot of trending stuff. I think the State of the Union is good, but he's got to figure out something on the greens, and he's got to do so pretty fast.
Imagine a world where Jordan Spieth's got to figure out something on the greens. That would have been sacrilegious at his prime, but that's where we're at. Six shots between Scottie Scheffler and the rest of the field, Greg. Sam Stevens is in second, 12 under par, thanks to a pair of 65s. Johnny Vegas and Ricky Castillo at 10 under. Johnny's done. Ricky is not. And then a handful of guys at 9 under par. And oh, by the way, dozens that have not even teed off yet in their second round. Is there a name or names that you are most excited to just keep an eye on as round 2 starts, finishes, and round 3 gets started?
Well, let me give you a guy that hasn't even teed off yet and has a 6:59 p.m. tee time today, local. That's Steven Yeager, who's at 7 under par. I think this is a really nice fit for him. I think he understands what Mark said wisely very early on in this episode, that you need to go play your game. And while it's 10 shots now, well, all of a sudden it might only be 3 heading into the third round. And that can happen very quickly. Steven Yeager's the guy that's going to understand that. He's ironically, this is not why I'm mentioning his name, but he's ironically taken Scottie Scheffler down in a full field event before. I think Texas. He opened last year in Texas on a big golf course. I mean, he goes out and shoots another round of 7 under par, gets himself to 14 under, 4 shots back heading into the weekend. Now we got a totally different animal, right? I know it's Scottie Scheffler, but you don't know what's going to happen. And if you only got one guy to catch, that's a good thing. And you start looking at the rest of this leaderboard. If it weren't for Scottie, I don't know what you would say the real lead is, Rick. I mean, you got Sam Stevens up here, who's played a couple of nice tournaments this year, really only 2. You got Johnny Vegas. He played well at the Century. That's really it. Ricky Castillo, rookie on the PGA Tour. Eric Cole, not having his best year. Andrew Putnam, we haven't seen much of him. I mean, you start going down this list. You got Joseph Bramlett. He's played Korn Ferry Tour events this year. Eric Van Rooyen, haven't seen him at all. Patton Kizzire has made 1 cut this year in an event with a cut. He's been terrible. So there's a lot of guys that haven't really done a whole lot this year. And if I'm Steven Yeager, I'm saying, hey, I'm gonna go make a move, close this gap. It's gonna be Scottie and Steven in Texas again.
Hey, you've missed two names there, Professor. First off, as far as I'm concerned, if you get to the teens tomorrow after the second round, then you're in business. So Mackenzie Hughes, if he does something special, and he's been playing really, really nicely.
Yeah, he's at 6.
So Hughes, but there's two guys I got my eye on. The two that you missed going down that list, Greg. Nicholas Norgard, who is legitimate and he's long. And then Michael Thorbjornsson, who is legitimate and long and played beautifully last week. So I got my eye on those two young studs because they're kind of the future of the game. With the length that they hit it, you can just blast, man, because you're not getting the ball into trouble very much. And so it's almost like, look, it's easy for us to say it's open mandate, just go ahead and attack, because we don't feel like they do when the pressure's up. And so it just feels different when you're competing. But if I was advising the both of them, I'd say just go and air it out, man. It's like a dartboard out there. Have your way. If it works out for you, fantastic. If it doesn't, you still got a shot to finish inside the top 10 or whatever because of the way the scoring stacked up. So to me, the Dane Norgard and, of course, Thorbjornsson, I love what I see over there.
One other thing I'll add on that, Mark, you're not supposed to win. Okay, none of these other guys are supposed to win at this point. You have a built-in excuse. It's Scottie Scheffler. Of course, Scottie Scheffler won. The pressure is gone. And so that bodes well for the guys that haven't teed off yet.
Nicholas Norgard's muscles have muscles.
Yeah.
He is about as jacked as they come. I'm jealous.
That's true. He makes Camilo Villegas look like me. He makes Camilo look like he's got a dad belly.
Yeah, I admire Nicholas Norgard big time. The sunset in Dallas tonight, 8:10 p.m. local. Yeah, let's see. Oh, plenty of sunlight out there, Mark.
Yeah, lots of sun.
Plenty of sun. Well, the final tee times, 7:54. So those guys will play for 16 minutes or so before the horn sounds. We have obviously a lot of golf to be played in round number 2. It'll be a long day for round number 3. We will not. I can't imagine we'll complete round number 3 tomorrow, but we'll get this likely back on track for a Sunday finish. Any final thoughts, gents? Anything that I missed before we wrap on this Friday night?
Yeah, I missed you guys on Tuesday. I hope you had a great day. I'm still trying to find out. X has been asking, Rick, what you did on our 3-hole triangle there for the bet.
Okay, so was it 15, 16, and 17? Are those the holes?
Those are the holes.
Okay, then it was par, bogey, par.
Say again?
Par, bogey, par. So
we pushed.
We pushed.
All right.
Yeah, we were in the bunker off the tee at 15. You got it on the green
bunker.
and 2-putted.
Yep. We had to play out of the front bunker on 16.
Yeah, you
which was
bogeyed 16,
pathetic.
didn't you?
Which I hit to the fringe and 2-putted, so that's the bogey. And we
17, we had a great ball in the fairway.
Piped drive. I clipped it to like 30 feet, and Michael had one nice in there, nice and tight, putted up and got out of there.
All right. We live to fight another day.
Yeah.
We live to fight another day. Yes. The although Mark, hole 15 and a half, the floating umbrella. I stuffed it and I won the closest to the pin.
Yeah, baby. Did you get something for that?
$1,000 donation to the charity of my choice.
To the Rick Gehman Fund.
The Rick Gehman Fund. Yes.
Yeah.
Rick Gehman nonprofit. Yeah. The Rick Fund.
Yeah, the Rick Fund.
Yeah, we had a great time. It was fun to do it in person. We're gonna have to do a lot more of that. But yeah, it was awesome.
Cool.
All right, Mark, when are you on tomorrow, Mark? Now? Are you guys all screwed up with the weather now?
No. Our broadcast times will stay the same.
Okay.
I've seen some questions in the chat here about do we get finished? Look, as soon as the cut happens, sometime around midday tomorrow, they'll cut. It's still 65 in tires, so then I'm guessing they'll send them out in 3s of 2 tees. And so, yeah, I'm expecting we're going to get this thing in, but it's just going to be long days for the players, for the TV crew, for everybody, really. But we'll be on the air as usual.
Long days ahead. We'll be here for you. We'll be back on Sunday night, get you a champion of the Byron Nelson. Look ahead to the Truist, the new golf course. Not technically new. They've played it like 70 years ago, but new for us in modern times. We'll check that out. We'll get you continue rolling here as we get into another major championship before we know it. For now, big thanks to producer Mina, does all the hard work behind the scenes. Greg DuCharme is available at The Real FG. Mark Immelman at Mark_Immelman. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The Second Cut. Catch you next time.